So this workshop is about designing facial gesture-based interfaces, tapping neurotechnology. Okay, interesting. So let me ask a few questions. How many of you seen those headsets, that convert brain waves into signals? Okay, okay. Have you been part of the process or the design methodology? Have you worked on that? I mean, just a basic experience around that? Okay. Okay, so then this is the right place to get started with. We have our esteemed speakers from SAP Lab India. We have Aparna, Rupali, and Mamta. So to begin with a brief introduction, Aparna is a user experience designer and design thinking coach with 10 plus years of experience. And her specialization is in the user experience design for enterprise applications across multiple domains and industries. She believes that technology should empower, educate people, and help them to lead and enrich life. She's an avid traveler and she finds inspiration in people, places, and culture. So, interesting thing about her profile is she is the efficient lady driver in Japan who called a bullet train, who handled the bullet train cockpit, and the only girl in Andaman who was a diving instructor. And she's a warm woman who harvests and sell pine nuts in the hilly Himalayan slopes. So that's Aparna. Welcome. Next, we have Rupali Ray. Rupali is a seasoned product owner with 11 years experience on different applications. She has worked closely with customers to understand their needs and create products, and building high performance team and aligning diverse group of stakeholders for smooth execution are her forte. She started her career in 2005 and with SAP since 2006. She also brings value with her experiences. She has conducted a lot of work, facilitated workshops, being classroom trainer, speaker at various events, and highly engaging in education domain. So she is extremely curious, and the thing about this is she cannot handle suspense at all. So if you are going to take her for the suspense movies or thrillers, be cautious because she cannot handle this suspense at all. Okay? So that's Rupali. Welcome, Rupali. And then we have Mamta. Mamta Yadav has experience over 6 years in IT industry. She has joined SAP in 2015 and she's passionate about her work and keen interest in emerging technologies. She has worked in different technologies and conducted quality assurance training. She's been speaker with DCOM, InnoJam, etc. And in her free time, she loves to be with friends, going out as their travel planner and advisor. So if you're visiting any place for the first time and if she's with you, you can be rest assured, you're going to have a great time. So welcome, Mamta. I join hands to welcome all three esteemed speakers and all over to you. Thank you.
Hello, thank you, Seema. That was a wonderful introduction we got. So today, again, I hope our workshop will be very interesting and engaging for all of you. So today our topic is designing facial gestures-based interfaces, tapping neurotechnology. So before I move into this topic, let me first, let's just play some games, okay? So the basic way of communication is words, right? Either we talk, we use verbal, or else we have a written communication, but it's always the words which we use. But our brain is much more powerful than that. Our brain can basically understand gestures also. So before we go into the topic, let's have a very quick game. What I want is, within your tables, please rearrange yourself according to your birth month, the January starting from here to December. But the most interesting part is you cannot talk, okay? You cannot use hand gestures. You cannot write down. All you have to do is facial gestures. So let's see whether our brains are really capable of doing it. Is it clear? So you have to just rearrange yourself from January. People having birth month on January, they'll start from here and will go till December there. Very quickly. So we are doing an activity, but it will be without any sound. And we are going to monitor that, okay? So
Yeah.
no cheatings.
No gesture, no hand gestures.
Only face gestures. Okay,
That
use
depends
hand
on
if
you.
you must, but
Yeah.
Yes, you have to communicate. The birth January people will
No,
be
no,
sitting
no
here.
hand gestures. You can facial gestures. You can use your facial
okay.
gestures to communicate.
Try.
No,
Try it.
try it out.
Give it a try.
So January people will be sitting this side and the December here. So please get up and rearrange yourself. Okay, great. So it's easier for the January and the December people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rest of them just try to figure it out.
Are you all?
And
Are
then
you
we'll
sure?
I can see the back tables.
You
You
all
please
set?
get up and rearrange
You
yourself
guys didn't
according
talk,
to the
right?
month.
Super.
Okay. You didn't cheat, right? Okay.
We have just 1 minute. Our brains are very fast, okay? They are the fastest computers, so we can do it really fast.
Yeah, within this table.
Is this table done? Super. This table? Done, that table? Okay. Is this 2 tables done? Okay, so I guess it's, yeah, they have done it. You have also done it. Okay, super. Okay, so I guess most of the tables have done, so let's check. Like, this table is talking, okay? So we'll see if this table is. You've finished it, great. Okay, which month is yours? March? June? Okay. Super, see?
Wow.
Without talking, we can do many things actually. Let's go to another table. Okay, let's go to some of the front benchers. Okay, your month, ma'am. Okay, your. Okay. 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 Okay, super.
Wow.
See, that was fantastic. So actually, our brain is really capable of doing that. It's just that we are so used to words that we just cannot go beyond that. So I'll go ahead with the session now. So today the main key takeaways from our side is that you will get to solve one of the real life challenges which we have, and you will also get an experience of design thinking, DT, and definitely we will be there to guide you. And also at the end, you will be sharing your learning and solution with all of them, which will be a group presentation. Now this is the interactive hands-on, okay, and it's you have to be really open. Please frankly discuss and also listen what others are saying, and you have to really be very, very open in this workshop. Now the rules, very important, we all have to follow rules. First thing we have, it's a very fast paced. If you see, we have already put the agenda over there, I'll be also talking about it. But it's a very fast paced, so you have to be really little quick. You might get into a discussion, but please follow the timelines. And very important, your team needs you, so please don't leave in between, okay? And please keep your mobile phone usage to the minimum. And please ask questions. There might be a situation where we are not able to answer you immediately because of the time things, but when you're doing the hands-on, we'll be answering all your questions. So please feel free to ask any questions. We'll be definitely helping you out. So quickly going to the agenda. Most of the time we are not going to talk. It's you who are going to drive this workshop. We are there only for the first 20 minutes where we'll be presenting about DT and the neuro technology part of it. Then all other activities are hands-on. First is a persona creation, which will be explaining what is persona and other things. And then is ideation. Based on the challenge, you have to come up with some kind of solution. Then you will be doing prototyping. For example, how will you actually implement that solution? And lastly, you will be presenting your learning, and then we'll close with a feedback. Being women, we'll be doing it in a roses format. The things which we love are roses, and which we didn't like will be thorns, okay? So I'll hand it over to Aparna. She'll be talking about design thinking. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay, so before I just start, I want to know how many of you have heard the term design thinking in your organization. So, okay, let's hear what you understand about it. You want to go? Yeah.
So design thinking is basically a new way of methodology of finding solutions by like a process which involves
Yeah.
actually the first step is user empathy.
Right.
Getting into the user's point of view, trying to find out what they need, then going through all
Okay.
the processes.
All right. Spot on there. You've got the, have you been in a design thinking workshop? You're a user experience designer. Okay, do we have more designers here? Okay. So anyone else wants to share what your understanding of design thinking is? Yep.
My point is again same. It's like empathizing with users, understanding their needs
Right.
and their scenario, and
Right.
after they are done with the product,
Yeah.
they really need to have a closing experience.
Right.
Very similar to onboarding experience.
Okay.
So very similar.
All right, spot on. So both these explanations were very much in detail of what we'll be addressing today. So in a nutshell, if you really Google, you'll find a lot of definitions for design thinking, but what really it is, it's a problem solving technique. It's a very systematic process. It's an iterative process which will help you really break down a very complex problem that you have into small chunks and help you come up with a solution at the end of it. When I say a problem, it's not necessarily a software product's problem. It could even be a process that you want to redesign. It could be the design of an entire system. So any problem that you have, you can actually take through this methodology and come up with a creative solution, and we'll look at how you can do that today. So before the process, there are some factors to consider for a very successful design thinking setup, let's say. The first and foremost is the people, and in our case, that's all of you. The more diverse the people, the more successful the entire design thinking session or the process will be. So if you really look at one, you can actually look this up. There's a documentary by BBC on IDEO's shopping cart project. It's one of the most famous case studies. It's done really long ago where IDEO's a design studio firm. So these guys come together to redesign the shopping cart that we see in today's malls, right? And the point why I bring this up was the team that comes together had a lawyer, a psychologist, a ethnographist, engineers and designers, of course. It was a very diverse set that came and solved the problem. Now, why do you think that you need this different perspectives when you want to design something like a shopping cart? Any thoughts? Right. So when you look at a product, it's not just the manufacturing or development part of it. There is a user, and a user has various perspectives, right? He needs safety when probably he's looking at the shopping cart, or from the hygienic perspective, there could be several aspects which only a person with various different mindsets can understand. So I'll give you a short exercise which will prove that all of us are very different in our own skills. So any person can be put into a T shape. All right, so if you can like draw a T like how I've drawn the agenda, and in the broad portion of the T, quickly jot down what your skills are in terms of, like you might be a jack of many trades, right? You will probably have a lot of skills that you are good at. Put that in the horizontal portion of the T, and in the vertical portion, put down your core expertise. Like she is a designer, so probably design could be one of her core expertise skills. So we'll have just 1 minute, or probably just half a minute. Quickly pick up a notepad or a post-it that you have and make a T for yourself, and then compare it in your table. So again, this could be the T that you're looking at. What goes here will be your core strengths, what you've really honed your skills in over years. And what goes here will be all the several other skills that you have, right? Like the breadth of your skills and the depth of your skills. So you may not be an expert in what you put here, but the things that you put here, you're like a real expert in it. It could be anything. It's just about you. Yeah. Don't think too much. Just put in, like we'll wrap up in a few seconds actually. Those who have done can already share it amongst your table, and you'll get a sense of how very different the people in your table are and what skill sets they bring across today. Okay, let's stop it for now. Just exchange amongst yourselves, and do you notice anything different, or do you have people with similar skill sets? Okay, any observations? Anyone wants to go? Very quickly, and then we'll move on. Would you like to share what you discovered in your table? All right, so we'll look at this table and see what they've come up with.
Yeah, I think most of us have pretty different part in the vertical side of things.
Right,
So like she's a good dancer.
okay,
I think I have good analytical abilities.
okay,
And similarly, Reshmi thinks that driving is her core
Right.
expertise. So like that.
So you notice that there are different teas for everyone, right? I hope that's the case for all your tables. And if that's the case, we would have a very diverse set of ideas today for the workshop, and that's a really good sign. The second part is the place. If you notice, we have a table sort of arrangement, right? The typical arrangements that we see like in a training room is like a lecture hall arrangement, or if we are in our office in a cubicle setup, none of these arrangements are typically said to be well suited for a creative mindset. When you sit like this around, you have the possibility to collaborate with each other better, discuss and share, and soon you'll find out that in 1 hour this place is going to look very messy. There'll be post-its flying around, there'll be scissors and tape, and that's how, in the middle of all that is when a real idea comes up, right? So we want a place that will allow you to work freely, and this is sort of a setup that will allow that, and ideally it should be a little more open and spaced out with each work table having their own soft booths. We have tried to bring that in as much as possible today. So the most important part is the process itself. So this is the design thinking methodology that we'll be looking at today. The first part of it is understand. So the moment you're given a challenge, as a human being, our first tendency is to jump and solve it because we are all intelligent, we have all analytical abilities, we would like to solve it. But what design thinking says is that consciously step back from trying to jump and solve the problem. Really analyze the problem, break it down, and look at it from multiple perspectives, because then you'll really get down to the root issue. Because if you don't get the right problem that you're trying to solve, then the solution that you're going to come up with is really not going to help anyone. And that's the biggest form of waste, right? So you build something that nobody's ever going to use. So spend that time initially to understand what your problem is. This is what the understand phase focuses on. And then we have observe and define. So the first 3 parts, if you see, it's really about the problem space. Okay, and the last 3 parts is where you'll actually start ideating on the problem. Okay, so we have already looked at what understand is. Observe is where after you have done the understand phase. So today, if you have a challenge, you'll be doing that within your team. You'll all understand what the challenge is that you're working on. And you'll also understand what are the gray areas about the challenge that you don't understand. And you'll define some questions and you'll go to your end user to really understand what the problem is from their perspective, because it's for them that you're designing something, right? So why we gave you this game in the beginning of the workshop is because we don't have end users here today, but we wanted you to get into the shoes of the end user and really feel how it is to work with an application or a solution that's purely controlled by facial gestures. I hope that all of you got a sense of it and got to realize that it's probably not a very easy thing to do, right? Like words, it's not as easy to communicate. So ideally, observe is a place where you would go to your users, and define is where you really gather all the insights that you have done with your end users. So if you speak to 10 users, everyone's given you a lot of information. How do you condense all of it into a very crisp problem statement? So the challenge that we'll give to you today will be a very high-level challenge, but after you cover these stages, you'll come down and narrow it down to a very redefined, crisper version of your own problem statement, okay? So after that, you step into the ideation phase where you will brainstorm, come up with ideas, and you'll also decide which idea you want to take and prototype. All right, so we'll give you some tips on the prototyping or ideation phase later on. And last but not least, but very important, is that whatever idea you come up with, before you really execute it in the real world, take it to your users and test it, which is why you have a prototype phase in between. A prototype is not a full-fledged working thing. It's something that you can quickly test before you make it implementable, right? Okay. So what does this suggest to you? It's an iterative process, right? It's not linear. But the reason why it's iterative is better fail early than later, right? You always have a chance to go back, and that's one key advantage of this methodology. Okay, for today's workshop, we've slightly modified it in the interest of time. 1 hour is not a lot of time to do much. So these are the aspects that we'll be touching upon. We'll be doing the define phase, ideate phase, and prototype phase. Okay? All right, so we have a small video on design thinking where you'll again quickly go through what all I've explained.
Design thinking. You may have heard about it, but what is it really? This video will describe some of the tools that can help you in solving complex problems, creating innovative products, and making customers happy. All of them work best if you're working in a team, with a diversity of different backgrounds, experiences, and viewpoints. Now, let's go. As in other projects, you first have to understand the project environment, define a focus, and set up a plan. Basically, the scoping phase is about figuring out which questions to ask and what you need to know to make confident decisions. Then it's time to start digging. The beginning of every design thinking project is research. To get started, your team should define where you can get the answers to your questions from by mapping out a research plan. One important research method is field research. To come up with something that is meaningful to your users, you have to meet them. Ideally, you meet them in their real environment and observe them in everyday situations. Bring a second person that takes notes and pictures while you can listen carefully. Let the user talk freely about their values, opinions, and issues around the topic. During the research phase, collect all the information that you can possibly find. The synthesis phase is the right time to focus your insights to an essence. To synthesize your research findings, get together with your team and let everybody share their research story. First collect all of the team's findings, and then cluster them into topics that relate to needs, pain points, or particular insights. Sometimes it may be useful to summarize what you found out in one piece of information. This could be a persona that describes a fictional user very accurately, a detailed scenario of how an experience works right now, or just one sentence as long as it contains who the user is and what their needs are. Now the team can generate ideas to serve those needs. A brainstorming is most efficient if it has an actionable headline, like how might we help our user to fulfill his need? Set your team a time and shoot out as many ideas as possible. Write down one idea at a time and try to be visual. Go for wild ideas, as they may inspire other team members to build upon. No idea should be judged. Stay focused and have only one conversation at a time. After a productive brainstorming, try to find topics and group your ideas into clusters. Select one or two that seem to have the most potential. To put your idea out into the world, turn it into a prototype. A good prototype should be cheap and easy to produce and yet represent the way your solution would look, feel, or work in the future. Make something that can be experienced, but don't fall in love with it. Then go back to your user and let them test and interact with it. Try to get their real thoughts and feedback. If it doesn't work for them, don't get frustrated. Instead, see it as input and go back to where more work is required. Iteration is the core of design thinking, a work culture that can help you in creating more innovative products, services, and experiences people will love.
So as Aparna told it, we are going to work today on the design thinking, which is the iterative process of ideate, prototype, and testing. So I just wanted to ask how many of you have heard about the BCI? Any of you have heard? Okay, I see one hand there. Can you tell me what exactly it is in short?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you know about it? Okay. So actually, thank you. It is a BCI is a brain-computer interface which is used to convert the brain activities into kind of receiver where we can receive some input from the brain signal. As you know that our brain is full of neurons. Neurons, it is a kind of, you know about electron, protons and neutrons. That kind of, like that, we had something in our brain which will work even if whatever, if we think, we move, we laugh, we cry, all neurons will start moving inside the brain, and it will produce one energy which we can measure in the form of the electric signals. So there are many ways to measure that electric signal. EEG is a form, EEG is a kind with which we can measure those electric signals. As you know that MRI is also a way to measure those brain signals. So it is a like those brain signal, if you measure those brain signal and you pre-process, you do some processing on that, then you can convert those whatever signals you will get from the brains, you will convert those signals into some inputs which can be given to the any external device. External device means in form of laptop, computer or device, anything. So like if I say that if I were in 1918 and I would have been told you that okay, you will be getting the touch screen mobile, no one would have been imagined at that time that we will be getting a mobile with which you can not even call or message, you can search the internet on that. No one would have been believed. So if I would say you that okay, in the near future, maybe in the 2020 or 2030, you will be getting something with which you don't need a mobile at all to call someone. You just think that okay, I want to call someone, and your call will be connected and you can talk to that person. You think like okay, I am getting late, I have to inform my mom that okay, I will be getting late. You just thinking that your message will be sent to your mom saying that okay, she will be informed, she won't be worried. So as of now it looks odd because we have not reached that far, but the technology as it is emerging, soon we will not be having the mobile. Everything will be controlled via our brain. We just think the thing and okay, I want to do something, or I just think about it and it will be done like that. So I just want to tell about the architecture. As you know that like whatever we think, it will be some neurons inside the brain are working, and it will be recorded in the kind of brain activity. It is recording the brain activity in form of EEG signals or MRI and NPT. There are many processes to measure those brain signals. Once you will capture those signals, what you can do, you can do the processing. The whole 3-step you can see here: signal pre-processing, feature extraction, classification. These are kind of processes which will be done on the signals what you get from the brain activity. I will get the digital signal with the help of the headset. There are many headsets in the market with which you can measure your brain signals in form of EEG. So I will measure those signals. It will convert those EEG signal will convert the signal into digital form. You will get the digital output from the your headset. Then what we do, we will do the signal pre-processing where we will remove all the unnecessary data. Whatever is needed for our further analysis, we'll keep that data. Rest data we will remove it. Then we'll do the feature extraction. I will put some algorithm and whatever, like suppose I want to, if I say that if I smile, I want to do something. Okay, suppose I can say that if I smile, a notification will be sent to someone. Assume it. Okay, or maybe if I'm smiling, the person who is sitting next to me should feel okay. If he's not able to see me, he should get a notification, okay, she's happy. Like that. So I will put some kind of algorithm in that feature extraction step, and then what I will do, I will do the classification and regression. In that I will convert those whatever data, digital data I got it in form of command. Suppose I want to send a message notification, so I will convert those numeric value. Okay, if this is there, then okay, suppose some different program should execute. As you know that whatever we do, we put an action kind of thing. So that process will be sent and we will get the result in form of visual or sound, eye, like we see something, whatever result we get to the external devices. Like here you can see the computers and everything. This is the whole architecture of the neurotechnology. So you can think about it like some people who are not able to even say something. Suppose we are in the era where we use our verbal communication. Suppose it will be very easy if you are in meeting room and your manager is saying something to you and you want to convey your friend, okay, whatever he is saying is not correct, I did something, I don't want to, but you cannot say this in front of your manager. So suppose I think, okay, I want to say this to my friend in the meeting room only, I will just think about it and some notification will be sent to my friend or message. Okay, he is saying wrong thing, he did something else and someone else is taking credit, kind of things we can tell. Okay, so, okay, now this is the architecture, we will be working on this. So I want to give you some tips. Okay, today what the session is, we are planning to make some kind of application using your facial gestures, which will be recorded using your Neuro headset. So now we are not using it now, but if you see in foreign countries, they are using the Neuro headset for different kind of people and different use cases. So suppose you are in different era and you have to make an application which will be based only on your facial gesture, or maybe only on your brain activities. You think about something and it will be done. So I will hand over to Aparna for the tips like which are useful for this kind of application.
Right, so the reason why we give these tips here is that when you go ahead and get into your ideation phase and come up with solutions, it will be useful that you keep some of these things in mind so that you can make your solution all the more delightful. All right, so we already have established human-computer interface design principles, but how does that change with this new technology called brain-computer interaction? For this, you have to really understand the technology a little bit. This is a very fairly new technology. It's still forming and picking up strength. There is research ongoing to make it more precise. But because of the nature of this input, you'll find that the signals that's being read by the Neuro headset and that's being fed into the computer is still error prone because the signals are noisy, it can be slow. So you think you want to move the cursor from here to there, but by the time that happens, it'll take some time. So in such a system, it's all the more important that you design your application in a way that you're able to engage the user constantly. Right? So there's the first principle is shared control. Shared control is actually a control that's shared between man and machine or woman and machine. Okay, so we've already see this in many of our applications today. Like when you type an SMS, as you're typing, you see a word suggested to you, right? With predictive learning, it's already able to populate that this is what you want to learn. So what's happening really is that you're typing, but the system is also automatically predicting what you want to type. And between you and the system, you're able to get a task done, which is sending your SMS, right? So H metaphor is a term that was coined by NASA to design their cockpit. What it really means is it takes the analogy of a horse on a rider. As such, if you let a horse run, it's capable of navigating through obstacles. It can go a certain route without any guidance. But you put a rider on it and give him reins, he's able to control the horse, right? When you tighten the reins, the horse is really controlled. It's under his influence. But when you loosen the reins, you give more control to the horse. So when you bring this to an application, how does it translate? Now, as a user, you always want to feel that you're in control of the application. So design your application in a way that you help him feel that he's in control. When he's energetic and he wants to take over, let him take over. But when you sense that the user is getting tired or is not really in a good control form, the system should non-intrusively take over from the user and do the task for him. As a designer, it's a very fine balance that you need to build into the product. So this shared control is one methodology or design factor you could keep in mind. We also have robotic cameras, like when you're reversing, the camera can actually sense there's an obstacle and stop the car for you. But if it abruptly stops, you're also wondering what happened, right? So there's a fine balance in the way you design this entire system as to when the machine takes over control from the user. All right, so the second is illusion of control. Many times this is widely used in gaming. So has anyone played this tennis game? Yeah, so you probably have an experience of this, right? It's the remote control that's designed to play this game is actually in the form of a tennis racket. So when you're actually playing the game, you have to do the physical movements where you actually play tennis, right? But because of the design of the racket, you're telling the user that you need to swing, and you also making sure that the user is really engaged into the game. But if you really look at the device, you don't need to do all the swimming motions. A very fine movement will actually push the ball a long way. But you have designed it in such a way that the user can really immerse himself. But after doing this for a really long time, you will get tired. And when you slow down, you'll realize that the system is actually doing the work for you. You don't need to swing so much. Okay, so that's an example. The third is user engagement through gamification. Gamification is already an existing concept. When in your applications, you bring the rules of games, like providing points or encouraging through some goodies that's seen in the interface. Again, games have adopted this a lot. In our application, when you're using facial gestures to control an application, it's a tiresome process for the user. Imagine winking your eyes or blinking or making expressions all the time to do a task. It's kind of tiring after some time, right? So make sure that something in your interface encourages the user to keep going on, and when he completes a task, appreciate it or find ways to do it. It could be a voice feedback, it could be tactical feedback, but find a way to communicate to the user that he's doing a really good job and encouraging him to keep doing it. All right, so gesture training and recall. So this is a new input technology, unlike mouse or joysticks or the ones that we are used to. So because we're introducing a whole lot of gestures, it's also a lot for the user to remember that, okay, I have to nod to select or turn my head left or right to do this certain action. So at any point of time, make it easy for the user to quickly remember what gesture does what. And also allow, before he really gets into the application and starts doing things, give a safe ground where he can quickly practice the gestures and get a feel of what is really happening when he does a certain gesture. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Information clarity and structuring, it holds true for the design of all systems or interfaces, but very true especially in this case because, again, minimal information you show on the screen, it's lesser clutter and the user can really focus on what he wants to do. And the most decide when you want to show a lot of information, always prioritize what's the key information that you want to show up front. Put that up and the rest can be maybe the next screen, or prioritize it a little lesser in the whole system, and that will be more effective. Error prevention, detection, and recovery. So machine learning is something that can really play a part here. If you have a machine and you see your users working on it, and let's say five of the users make the same kind of mistake, the next time when the sixth user is about to make the mistake, or before even he makes it, the system should kind of avoid the situation where the user does that mistake. Do a suggestion, or is this what you're trying to do? Give a tip that will help this error prevention. This is where you can use machine learning to recover from the situation. Visibility of system status. Always communicate to the user what is going on with the system. If you're downloading something, show a feedback. If something is loading on the screen, put a progress bar that shows the status. Or if you're deleting something, like all of us have dragged and dropped files into the recycle bin, right? And then there's that garbage crumbling sound that comes, which you get that satisfaction, oh, I've dumped a lot of garbage into, I've actually cleaned my desktop, right? So these are little things that will go into your interface and make it a lot more engaging experience for your users. So we have these listed down in the handouts in your table. When you come to the solution part of it, which is not the first step, when you come to it, refer to it and you'll get some ideas for your own solution. All right? Okay. Okay, so
today,
Mamta, yeah.
today our challenge is this, like how do we make the public restroom usage more hygiene by leveraging facial gesture based application. Like I don't know like how many of you feel comfortable using the public restroom. Whenever we use, we feel like we don't want to touch anything. At least in my case I feel so. So suppose you have the headset with which you can control your mind. Now you have to design one app which will be like you can control it without even touching the restroom tap or anything you need not to touch, and it will be controlled. So we have different kind of persona.
Okay, so we have 4 personas here. One is a naughty kid, busy nanny, grandmother, and sincere staff. So I'm sure some of you are mothers here, some have kids, some of you are aunts with nieces and nephews and grandmothers you will be having, and on daily basis you interact with housekeepers. So based on those interaction, please think what this personas, what are the needs of this personas, and what pain points they have, and how they want to use that device. So in your table, you will be having few documents. First is you will have some kind of persona, kind of a sheet. Please refer to this, fill in your thoughts.
See, you can see this kind of photograph in all the tables. Like we have kept one photograph. All personas will be different, but the pictures will be one of them.
And then you have this handouts. This handouts for each one of you, so you can take them back. And then we have one persona poster. So this is our first activity. This is our first activity where you need to fill this poster or persona poster. Here the image will be coming, and then you have to fill what are the main goals, what are the needs and pain points, and what code you think. So how this activity will be done? It will be done in 3 steps. First is a silent brainstorming. That is, individually you will be thinking what are the things you think this persona will have. 2 minutes of thinking is there in that statement. So this will be doing for around 3 minutes. The next 7 minutes is where you will discuss with your team members, and you will understand, you will cluster it, and you will prioritize all these clusters. Finally is the point of view. We have to define the point of view for each of the personas. So point of view is something like, as a user, my needs are this, and I want to achieve this, or I want to remove this kind so that this pain point is removed. So that is a statement which you need to fill in. So this is the first activity. So please follow the timelines, and I think we are good to start.
We'll all be coming to your desk anyway, so any doubts that you have, we'll clarify them. Okay, but please stick to the time. It's going to be very fast, but you'll also enjoy it.
So for first 3 minutes, do an individual brainstorming.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is the challenge which you have to keep in mind, and in that challenge, what this persona would be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. How he can make the more hygienic while using the public washroom. See, you are free to choose anything, apps, some kind of, like we have some kind of voice recognition based system, whatever you could think. It could be anything. It is not based on only restricted to app.
Yes, sir. If possible, this flower vase we can remove.
Yeah, it is like housekeeping staff. So whatever the problem you feel like he feels some kind of challenges which
The
are for
activity is
him
clear.
every day, you can jot it down, and then you can individually you note it
No,
down.
you have just one persona. So based on this persona, for this challenge, what are the persona's needs? So you need to fill up that this document. So what is it? So like for a kid, I have a daughter, so she likes to play in water. Okay. So what she wants? What is the pain point? So her pain point is, Mama comes and close the tap. So she would want some kind of device in which, because she wants to play, the device should always flow water. Please don't follow this one, but you just think about yourself. So your persona is a kid, so just think on those things. What are the pain points for the kid? Okay, so sometimes the toilet seat is too up for the kids. So that is another problem. So individually, 3 minutes, think about it. If you want, is there any post-its here? No, right? Or you can write it in your this one, and then you discuss and write the final thing over here. Okay. Oh yeah, post-its. Is it clear, your the challenges, activity part? Any questions you have? Yeah, you have to fill it. So first you have to think individually what you feel like. It's a grandmother. So what are the grandmothers? Generally they would want some kind of help in the bathroom. They don't want it. There's a chance of slippage and such things. So based on this persona, what for this challenge, how you want to solve the problem. So first understand what are her problem. So this is what you have to define. You have to define what tools she uses. Maybe as a grandmother, she's not a device friendly. So you have to keep your interface really simple for her then. Right, so what are her pain points and what are her needs? Probably her need might be that she doesn't want to fall down. those tools. Yeah, right. Yes, yes. So you cannot give her probably an iPhone. So she might find it really difficult how it opens, and so you want to be very keep it very simple. Probably her tool is she has a walking stick.
Which he
So
won't
some way you have to think
not
on
face it.
what things she will
As
be
it's
using.
like someone should not
Yes, it can be
clean
anything.
dirt, make the
Or
dirt,
some
make it act
grandmothers
as
have
dirty
that
as he is
thing
not
to walk
facing.
on something.
So that kind of things we have to, yeah, yeah, anything, whatever.
So once your individual brainstorming is done, please uh, discuss among yourself and cluster all the thoughts, group them up. Can we start doing the POV of it? I hope your discussion is done. Your individual discussion and clustering is done. Please move into the POV part.
POV, like you have to collect the one need on which you are going to work. Like, yeah, out of all the pain points, which one you really want to do?
But you have to be very
Or
fast now.
if it is a
We don't
kind
have
of
time.
clustering, you can club all
Okay,
the needs
fine.
into one part. You can start.
You have to come up with a
putting that
POV,
into it.
point of view. So as a user, as a kid, I guess it's as a kid, okay, what is the needs and how will you solve that pain
You are
point?
done with the challenges.
How will you
what
achieve the goals?
challenges are
That
there
is
for
the thing
you.
which you have to come up with a statement
Okay.
thing. You can write down the statement here.
What did you get? Okay.
Can you start with the POV? thing?
Okay. So which one do you want
With
to
all
take?
your discussion, whatever discussion you have done, that is good enough for now. So you can start with the POV, and based on that POV, you start coming up with a solution. The discussion and just come to a POV, come to the last statement for which you want to find a solution. If we keep discussing, it's a very huge thing to discuss. So just come up with your last POV statement.
Okay. How many of you are done
So
with the
you have to
POV?
just so maybe we'll do a quick check here. So if any team want to share their POV with us, anyone?
So our persona is the hygienic grandmother, and the POV we have come up with, as a granny, I need a skid-proof and hygienic public restroom so that I do not slip and fall.
Okay, that was a very nice thought. Anyone else? You're just one.
As Jimmy, that's what we call our man. He's a naughty one. As Jimmy, I would like minimalistic interaction with the restroom infrastructure to ensure least intervention from my mom.
Okay. This side, Mamta.
I'm Tina. My goal is to keep the washrooms clean and hygienic with minimum downtime to reduce the waiting time for the users.
Okay. Mamta, this is a table they want to share.
Basically, so we've named our naughty kid Dennis the Menace. So basically, the mission statement for the children that I want a washroom which is more kid-friendly, accessible in terms of height and everything, and I should be able to use the equipment without any gap of what I've been taught at home. So,
Okay.
because he's 6, he's not concerned about hygiene.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move to the ideation stage now. So in ideation again, so now our problem is very clear. We have come up with one need and one pain point. Now we need to find out one solution for it. So again, first 3 minutes, just do a silent brainstorming how you would have liked to solve that problem. Next 7 minutes, you will do a clustering, which is you will discuss with your team member, get their ideas, and you will prioritize or which are the features you want in your solution. And finally, in the last 5 minutes, select your idea and finalize into your idea. Is it clear? Okay. So let's start with the ideation phase then.
Keep that thing in mind that it should work with your neuro signals, right? Whatever app or whatever the kind of some kind of watch or anything, whatever you are doing, it should work with the brain signals. You just wink or you just blink, you make some facial gesture, your app or your application should work. Okay? Yeah. You have to control your app and application using your facial gestures.
If there is dampness on the floor, the signal sent
Yeah.
basically tell the grandmother that okay,
Yes, you can. Yes. you have to keep in mind these design tips while you're coming up with ideas. Keep this design tips while you're designing your UIs, this interface.
Either in form of app or in form of any sort of band or something, whatever you feel you can make.
So just assume that whatever you do with your face, you can control an application because you're wearing that device. Okay? That's just an assumption. Now just be free
And you need not to use your hand or something. You just think about something you want to do that thing, and it will be done using your neuro signals.
Yeah, so we'll wrap up the ideation phase now. I hope you have all narrowed down on one idea that you're all excited about taking into prototype phase. Okay, so some tips for prototype. You can do a storytelling. You can do a role play also if you want to really simulate a situation and show how you'll really solve the situation there. You can enact it out. Or if you want to draw an application, that's also fine. We have charts and post-its. Or you can do a mixture of all these various techniques, okay? But the outcome is that when you come and present, we should understand what your problem was and how we are planning to solve it. Okay? Any questions? We'll be coming around, so if you have any questions, ask us. On how your prototype is going to be? Yes? Because we'll be starting presentations in 1 minute. Okay, so wrap up. It'll be a very quick presentation, okay? Think of 2 minutes. You just want to convey your idea to the audience.
So the problem statement for us was with our nanny, whose name is Savitri. Yeah. So the thing is that she's a very hygiene-loving person, and she is one of those that because of the aging, she faces a lot of issues related to hygiene also, and because she needs to use the toilet frequently. And whenever we go somewhere with her, she needs to be taken care very keenly on the hygiene part, so that she doesn't fall. Or public toilets in many cases, even in the malls, many times the hygiene is not maintained properly. So someone from our family had to take care, and if we could not leave her even for an hour or so alone. So because it's aging and she needs to use the toilet frequently. So this is a problem statement which we have, that old people need to be taken care for their basic needs even because of these issues in the public places. So that's the problem statement. So solution what we have come up, and basically we have come up with a device which will work on the neuron technology, which is based on the expressions or the thoughts what the old people will use. So we have given a scenario, a kind of story that she goes to a mall where in that public toilet some company has put these walking sticks along with a set of headphones which are connected together. So there is the person who is the housekeeping person there. He will see that there is a old person coming in. He will provide him with this device. So basically the number of toilets which are there, he will keep that many sticks and this headphone set which is there. So whosoever is visiting is old and it needs some help, they would be given the device with this headphone, which will be connected either wireless or can be wired also with a stick. So this will help in multiple ways. One is that when they are walking, they will be having this help also, that that while going to the toilet from the door, that stick will help them to walk. Apart from that, let's say there is water there and she thinks, by seeing herself, she will think that, I may fall, or there is a fear kind of factor coming in her mind or thoughts. So there will be an alarm or kind of thing which will call the housekeeping help and to make sure that, give her a signal that don't move ahead, there is a water. So she will also stop and someone will come with that alarm and clean it. That is one. It will also work the place, let's say inside she opens a tap and earlier it was clean and then the water falls or something like that. That at that time also the same thing. So someone can come and help her and she can get up herself with the help of that stick and then take care. There is a signal that there is some danger. So walk more gently or don't skid on the floor. So that is the device we have come up.
Okay, great. It was interesting.
naughty child. We've called the child Dennis the Menace. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the main pain points of Dennis as a child is that he can't reach the wash basin or maybe the pot. So he's also maybe scared or intimidated by adults that are standing all around him. He might find the washroom smelly or dirty and then decides to not enter because of the same reason. And the controls in the washroom could be very different from what he has at home, so he can't figure out how to use it. And the last is a point told by her that the children, they feel a little intimidated to go to washrooms, plus parents don't feel that it's safe for the child to go alone. So then all the men and kids like Dennis have to come to the ladies' washroom, which they don't like at all. So the safety part of it, or a SOS signal, is a problem. So the solution that we have, it's called a smart washroom. It's not exactly a device, but the entire washroom is smart. Dennis enters the washroom, and in case he finds it smelly or stinky, he makes a frown. It's automatically detected, and a message is shown saying, is it smelly or whatever, and based on his response, a flush is there. And all of this is based on
So basically, if he enters and first gesture, if a kid enters for the first time or an adult enters for the first time and he makes a frowny expression or shakes his head about the washroom, so there are three things that will happen automatically: a flush, a spray of an air freshener automatically, and just a quick sweep of the floor. If even then the continuously people come and have the same gesture towards that washroom, then due to machine learning and an automated signal would be sent to the cleaning person who will come and check that washroom specifically. So this is that particular point. Yeah, and so all of these gestures, they will be in, so what we're thinking that, okay, it's not related to the device, but like all of them would be inspired by cartoons or action heroes or people, so that they're more appealing to the kids and would be periodically shown so that they don't forget what they have to do once they're in the washroom. So
Familiarity is already explained to the kids, so they just follow the character, whatever they are shown there.
one last thing, the seats in the basins will all be height adjustable, which is also automated if the technology allows, so that way it's easier for kids to use as well as adults. And the last, for the SOS signal, there is also an expression for SOS in case kids screams out like mom's name or makes a frown or cries or something like that. So a notification is sent to the parent outside.
So we got the naughty one as our persona, and we'll be enacting it out. So our point of view is, as Jimmy, I would like minimalistic interaction with the restroom infrastructure so that I can ensure least intervention from my mom. So that's the idea. So meet Jimmy. Jimmy is a naughty kid, and off he goes into our smart toilet. And oh, I'm thinking, how cool is this toilet going to be? Well, just the need has come, call of nature, let me just do it anyways. So let me just think about how to open this door, okay? Oh, I just thought about it and it just opened, that's cool. Oh my god, look at the commode. Did Amitabh Bachchan just use this toilet? Cause it's so freaking high. Well, no, let me just think about having it on my height. Oh look, it moves down. All I had to do was just think about it. Okay, finally, let's get to the point. Wait, I forgot to lock the door? Shit, okay, wait. Oh my god, pesky locking systems these days. I don't know how this locking system works. Wait, let me just think about it. And off goes the lock. Okay. And I think you have to move it down because you can't see her face. Yeah. So let me do the job. Let me get this right. Okay. I don't want to make fart sounds, but yeah. So yeah, it feels good. And okay, that was nice. And yeah, I think I'm done. I need a wash now. Where's the jet? Let me just think left. Oh, off I think left. Oh, okay. The jet just started. Okay, fine, great. I just had to think about a wash and I get a wash. That's so cool. And I'm good. And wait, I have to get out of this washroom, and I have done good without my mom's help so far. But again, how do I open this pesky lock? Okay, let me just try it my way. Let me just think about it. Off goes the lock. And I'm done. So bathroom is just thoughts away. Now it's my toilet.
Nice group dynamic.
Cleaning staff who wants to keep the toilet always clean. She'll face many problems like water leakage. Yeah, our staff name is Sakkubai. And Sakkubai doesn't like the toilets dirty anytime. She wants it to be clean always. She faces problems like water leakage, no water, and the user doesn't flush the toilets after use. We switched on to automate only one case to flush the toilets as soon as they are used. So we automated something like this. As soon as a user leaves, she gets a notification that when the door status changes to vacant, a notification goes to Sakubai, Sakubai's phone, and Sakubai thinks of cleaning, flushing, and the brush, whatever automation allows us, and that toilet is clean for the next user. That's it. Thank you.
Last one, due to shortage of time. Anyone wants to present the last one? You can have the thing.
So as this is Gram, the granny, who is a futuristic granny. So she's going to be today's generation, but when we're older. Her biggest concern of using a public restroom is that she doesn't want to skid and fall. So when she walks in, she just has to pout. And a strong yet gentle robotic arm will come out of the wall and assist her with getting seated and with getting up. And when she's done, she just has to smile. And the door opens and everything's done. That's it.
That was a wonderful prototyping we saw. Really, it was awesome with pouts and our kid there. Wonderful. So now we'll be closing the session. So before that, I would like to take some feedback. Which was the most engaging thing you found in this workshop? Anyone wants to share? Just few lines. Anyone?
I think the ideation session was really interesting, and we get to hear a lot of thoughts and where they come from. So it kind of culminates together. I think we come up with better idea than if you were to do it alone.
Anyone else?
I think the best thing about this workshop was unifying all of us. I still don't know her name, but today we are united in this table, and we are smiling with each other and enjoying it thoroughly. Yeah, of course I will.
Thank you for your feedback. We have also kept a chart here with roses and thorns. Please share your feedback so that we can improve it much better when we come next time. And finally, we'd like to thank GHCI for giving us this opportunity. I'll thank on behalf of my friends also over here. And Seema, we have been bothering her a lot with lot of requirements, get us this, get us that. She patiently used to solve all our queries till last date, till yesterday we had been giving her the list of things which we need. So thanks a lot.
I can see the engagement, so it's all worth the time, and I'm really thankful to Aparna, Rupali and Mamta for conducting such a interactive and engaging workshop. We really enjoyed it, and actually we could find out the actors from the participants, right? So thank you so much for wonderful participation. And just a small token of appreciation, we'll be handing over these goodies to our speakers. So thank you.